All right, let's see how this goes here. Good evening, YouTubers. Decided to make a little video here. It's kind of a follow-up to the tactical loadout plate carrier video that I made. One of the comments that was kind of brought up in that whole discussion was, "Man, like that thing looks really heavy." So we wanted to remind folks that different circumstances require different kit. And so with that previous kind of video, kind of my standard loadout, it's a heavy loadout. It's a lot of ammunition, it's a lot of supplies, a lot of equipment for specific scenarios that I'm not going to get into as far as what I use my kit specifically for and what scenario. But what I wanted to provide for this day here, this evening, whatever time you might be watching this, is an example of a very light, what I would consider to be a minimalist kind of loadout. And what I mean by minimalist is what is necessary for a particular operation. The things that you need, maybe not all of the extra luxuries and things of that nature, but enough flexibility where if you need to add a couple other things, you can do that. And so what we're looking at here is a United States Marine Corps surplus load-bearing vest, load-bearing equipment. Now, the reason why I kind of wanted to focus in on this is there are a ton of chest rigs and plate carriers and battle belts out there on the market, and different price points depending on where it's made, who's marketing it, who's selling it, all of that other stuff. With this here, this being a surplus piece of equipment, generally speaking, pretty affordable online through, eBay, Amazon, or your average kind of just, Army Navy surplus store that you might find somewhere. They're going to probably have some of these. Now, if you want to get in real cheap, there's my hand. You can get some of the ACU UCP pattern stuff that's not great camouflage for most environments that people are thinking about. They work okay in an urban environment, but they're cheap. You can dye them. That is an option. I've actually got another one that I've dyed to more of an OD green type color that I bought in the UCP pattern. I don't have that out here for display right now. But again, these things are cheap, so you can pick up in different patterns. The only ones where they're going to really try to nail you, big money on these, is the woodland pattern, which, if that's your thing, go for it. But anyway, this is an example of a light loadout with, I guess what we could say, surplus, by and large, equipment on here. As far as some of the magazine pouches, I always have a little saw pouch thing going on. Some of it's newer stuff, like tourniquet pouches, little radio pouch. But this is pretty affordable, guys. And so if you're looking for a light loadout and you're not hung up on the idea of having to buy some ridiculously expensive top-end kit to impress all of your friends who are out there LARPing with you in the field, this is really a great option to look into here. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Now, bear in mind, I can't tell you how much these things cost right now because prices fluctuate, but they're generally speaking very affordable. Again, this is a Marine Corps one. It is Coyote Brown. As you can see, I've rattle canned it in a few areas just to kind of break it up a little bit, because otherwise you're just a big blob of brown out there. And depending on what your environment is, you might want to just put a couple little splashes of color here and there on it. As is standard for me, you guys know my fetish with Eagle Industries magazine pouches. I like these because M4 mags, P mags, AK mags, you can fit 30 rounders in here. Little tight, can be done. You can squeeze with a little bit of effort. M14 magazines in there, 20 rounders. So I can, whatever platform I might be carrying in the field, I can fit magazines, and these are double stackers, at least with the M4. magazines. So I could carry up to 8 on here, and then whatever is in the weapon system. But generally speaking, if you're running light, 4 magazines plus 1 in your firearm, your rifle, that's a light combat loadout type situation there. 5, 6 magazines, 5 to 7 if you want to push it. And there's room on here where if you needed to add for your personal taste, don't mind the anti-seize on there. I was doing a brake job recently. So yeah, these gloves get a little bit of extra usage on different things. But anyway, there's flexibility here. You have a lot of real estate with your MOLLE webbing. I've got a basic little radio pouch here, which works perfectly for, say, UV5R or something like that, if that's your style. So you can go with that or whatever. You can fit things up high. I tend to leave this shoulder open because this is where I'm, shouldering my rifle. But yeah, so lots of real estate. As far as, adjustability goes, you've got some little strappy things here where you can tighten things up. Same thing with adjustment on the back. You can tighten things and loosen things as necessary to make it fit to your body a little better. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this very well because of some of the things I've got going on in here. If you look right there, there's a block piece, I guess we could call it, in the webbing. And that's how you tighten up this band in the back. And there's a pretty good degree of adjustment. So, for example, like in here, you can pop some Velcro and help to adjust things. But this stuff slides kind of back and forth in here. So there are limits on how far you can go with it. But by and large, you can make it so that it fits just about anybody that is reasonably built. I know a couple guys who are really, really thin, and these things are always kind of baggy on them. But, average size guys up to maybe a little bit husky, you can fit into these pretty well. They're designed to be universal because they're military surplus. So, yeah, again, pretty good real estate for your basics. I've got a pistol magazine pouch here, and again, I usually put like a multi-tool in here, but you can put pistol magazines in there. I like my tourniquet, so I've got one there, and then I've got one over here. So we've got the 2 tourniquet action there. Got my medical kit on here, my IFAK. Rather than putting the battle belt on with this, I have a separate IFAK on this particular setup, and then I have a saw pouch with a little grenade pouch because that's what my compass fits in. And this is, whatever else I might want to, by chance, carry. So I've got some smoke grenades in here for the time being, but I could put binoculars in here. I could put a couple extra magazines. I could carry some snacks, whatever it is that I want to have accessible, convenient right there. So as you can see already, just on this kit here, I've got ammunition, some first aid, and a little bit of extra storage. So, we're talking, again, what are the bare necessities for a light loadout? Well, you need ammunition. You don't need the whole entire inventory, but you need some to get you in, get you out, whatever. You definitely always need your medical stuff with you, just because things happen. Not even necessarily, from something of a caliber, puncture wounds, things of that nature happen. Sticks exist out there in nature. So that being said, that you can see that this stuff is all pretty well conveniently up on the front on this rig here. Now, what I have done in addition to this setup here, and it's not perfect, but it's how I have it set up. I have a Condor hydration carrier here. Rather than sticking canteens on this, I have just a 3-liter bag that's on the back here, and it has shoulder straps, and I've got it mollied in down there on the bottom. So it's a little floppy like this, but once you put it all on, everything's nice and snug and tight. So Water. That's another thing. You need to have hydration no matter what. I liked that better than sticking a couple canteens on my back, just because canteens are bulkier than that. That allows me to kind of sit with my back more flush if I'm not wearing some kind of assault bag or something like that. I do have 100 round saw magazine pouch, and I usually have another one over here, but it's got something else going on at the moment where I stole that to put it somewhere else. But these types of things I would typically just leave empty, but they're there in case, you pick something up in the field, you got to store something, or again, maybe you need your saw pouch for other things, so you can put some of your little snacks in there or whatever. Anything that, you might want to carry, it doesn't hurt to have like an extra pouch or something like that floating around. They don't weigh hardly anything. If there's nothing in them, it's just a little extra piece of fabric there. So that is in a nutshell, guys. Again, I'm not going to dig out the assault pack because I hate pulling the stuff out of it and putting it back in it. But this would be just a simple, basic, and it's lightweight. Now, if you go full blown with 3 liters of water there, that starts adding up a bit of weight. You don't necessarily have to fill it all the way. They kind of adjust themselves. So, you could put 1.5 liters in there or something, 1 liter of cola, and be pretty happy with, the weight distribution on here. You can't get away from weight, guys. Again, with my heavier loadout, there's a lot more going on with that for a situation that would call for a much heavier setup. But as this stands right now, this would be for light recce type stuff. I know recce's kind of in vogue or whatever you want to call it at the moment. It's a thing that everybody likes to talk about, but this would be light patrol. You're not necessarily looking to get into a hot situation. But if you did get into one, you have the stuff that you need to hopefully get yourself out without too much issue. Because again, you're a little bit lighter. You're not carrying plates. There's not a whole bunch of craziness going on here, where you might be taking up a position somewhere where you're playing that you're going to be there for a while, and you need all of the extra stuff you can get. This is to get you into somewhere and get you out. So yeah, I know this looks great for the camera, all crumpled up and stuff like that, but there's really no good way to prop this as it's set up to make it look, super fancy. And again, guys, I know this is intended to be a effective setup. And again, everybody's got their own personal preferences, how they like to lay this stuff out. But it's inexpensive. The surplus stuff, you can get really good deals in the market still, even with the inflation and things like that, because everything's gone up a little bit. But hopefully this gives you guys a little bit of a bigger picture here. Like, I'm not just running around in massive amounts of weight just because I'm stubborn and, I just need to prove how tough and macho I am. There's a time and a place for every setup here, guys. So something like this, very straightforward, very cost effective. You can be, a classy poor like I am. I don't run a lot of high end expensive equipment because, I've got a budget that I got to live by too. So if I can find something that's cost effective, but also works really great in the field, these vests are fantastic. I mean, they breathe great. They're mesh. You're getting good airflow on there. It's all open back. You've got one little section down in here where, you're not going to be catching a breeze, but that's where you got to carry your stuff. These load bearing vests are a fantastic investment. Again, you might not be winning any fashion shows wearing one, but it gets the job done. I kind of always talk about that. What gets the job done? This is an example of something that gets the job done, guys. So feel free, to go out and look at this stuff. Don't worry about what people are going to think about you wearing out there. You need to be able to carry the stuff to do the things. And this is just another option that's out there that doesn't get all of the the views that some of the other fancy things that other people are making and building and selling out there. So guys, look into these. You can get them, like I said, in the UCP kind of digital army camo. You can find some in the woodland. You can find them in the coyote brown. So there's a pretty good variety of things there. I'm pretty sure you could probably find them in black too, or something like that, if you wanted to be that cool. So as always, guys, comments, questions, thoughts, concerns. Again, this is just a real basic setup. If I wanted to throw my battle belt on, I could do that too. Again, assault pack is going to carry some other things, depending on what, the mission dictates or whatever. But, this is basic, simple, straightforward, lightweight, good breathing on the material. You really can't beat these guys for the cost that they are. I mean, it's a fantastic value. So as always, again, thank you guys for watching. Comments, questions, so on and so forth. Like and subscribe if you want to, or something like that. But yeah, as always, rock on and stay free. Thanks for checking us out. Have a good night.